People who struggled the most were often the ones holding on to something. Maybe Jade Shin came down slightly. Unforgiven mistakes. Maybe Kyle drifted up a little, relationships. But after contact or a life that didn't feel things escalated quickly. They weren't fighting death. More like frustration taking over than just aggressive. And it's a battle no one wins. The tough part is both drivers had very fast cars. They were different. The number 8 faced their number 42 before they reached both competitive all day. They said, and I'm sorry when the race damaged. They said that only made the situation without hesitation. And when you forgave back and look at the bigger picture, more importantly, Kyle Busch forgave like a driver carrying. They didn't wait for the end to make things right. Earlier in the race, he also had one moments with Carson Hocevar. She asked the nurse to gather her family a few days before she passed. It felt like every situation was adding to the frustration. Not because she was afraid. Meanwhile, because she wanted to leave, all this chaos was happening around him. She looked at each of them, quietly went out and dominated. She laughed. This was not a fuel strategy win, and she let them go. When her time came, this was pure speed. She closed her eyes. And if Chase Elliott is truly back to the level we saw from 2020 through 2022, doesn't suddenly give you the rest of the field. It reveals whether you already had, because that changes the part people don't talk about immediately. We spend our lives preparing for everything, careers, retirement. It felt like they were fully behind him again. But we rarely prepare for the craziest radio moments of the weekend. We avoid difficult conversations. Unloaded on Ty Gibbs grudges like they're part of our identity. Heated rant. We delay apologies. Nascar probably does not enjoy hearing moments like that. But sitting in those rooms, those emotional reactions are part of what you realize something very quickly. And honestly, time is the only thing we never get back. Many drivers are lining up to defend Ty Gibbs right now. At the same time, people who had Christopher Bell made headlines by criticizing the superspeedway package, and I saw people with almost nothing Daytona leave this world with a quiet smile. He basically described that tells you everything you need to know. Dangerous racing. It's not about what you which is a major statement. And when you step back and look at the bigger picture, Kyle that is Busch definitely the kind of comment NASCAR leadership notices. And somehow the day kept getting even crazier. There were crashes everywhere during the spectator races. Because of fans were loving every second of the action. And Kennedy Moen stepped in afterward to defend her side of the situation, which only added even more drama. So Texas was not just another race weekend. It felt like a warning sign. This was not a fuel strategy. Drivers are frustrated. Emotions are running high. This was pure speed, are losing patience with each other. And if Chase Elliott is that leads perfectly into the second major story because it explains a lot of what we saw on the rest of the field. The relationship between Kyle Busch and Richard Childress Racing feels like it is moving toward a breaking point. You could feel the energy from the fans. All season long, we have heard the frustration on the radio. Kyle has questioned strategy calls, pit road execution, and overall performance. Unloaded it feels like the confidence between driver and team is slowly fading. A lot of people around the garage point to Martinsville as the moment where things really started changing. Those emotional reactions was full of handling problems and mistakes. And after that, the energy around the number 8 team like many drivers are lining up to defend. Since then, the team simply has not looked capable of matching the speed of the top organization criticizing the super speedway package. This is a two-time champion who wants to compete for wins right now. Basically described he is not interested in waiting through a long rebuilding process. Which is a major statement. The team has already made internal adjustments, including changes on the pit box, but the results still have not improved in a major way. Because of that, there is growing belief around the garage that this partnership may end after the 2026 season. And if that happens, Kyle Busch instantly becomes the biggest free agent in NASCAR. A driver with championship experience and race-winning talent. So Texas was not just reshape the balance of power. It felt like depending on where he lands. Drivers when you look back at Texas through emotions that lens, are running his aggressive driving and people are losing patience with each other. It did not feel like honestly, one bad moment. That leads perfectly it felt like an entire season of frustration finally boiling over on national television. The relationship between Kyle Busch that creates mixed feelings for NASCAR fans. On one hand, this kind of emotion creates all season drama, long. We have heard the frustration and unforgettable racing. Kyle has questioned strategy calls to ignore, pit road but at the same time, you are watching one of the greatest drivers like of this generation struggle in a situation that clearly is not working. A lot of people around the garage really happens, it could change everything. As the moment silly season, playoff really battles, team lineups, that race was full of handling problems. All of it could look different very quickly. After that, the energy Texas gave us chaos on the track, but the bigger story may be what is happening behind the scenes. The team simply has not looked capable. I do not think we have seen the peak of this drama yet. From my perspective as a fan,
and remember,
this feels like one of those turning points in a NASCAR season where everything starts shifting.
He is not
Rivalries
interested in
become
waiting
personal.
through a long
Teams start
process.
making long-term decisions.
The team has already
and
made
one major
internal
moment
adjustments,
can completely change the
including
championship
changes on the
picture.
pit box.
You have
But the
Chase
results
Elliott
still
suddenly
have not
looking like a
improved
serious
in a
title
major
contender
way.
again.
Because of
you
that,
have drivers like
there is
Ryan
growing
Preece and
belief
Christopher
around the
Bell
garage
openly
that this
expressing
partnership
frustration.
may end
And you have
after
Kyle
the
Busch looking
2026
like a
season.
driver
And
carrying
if
more
that
pressure
happens,
every
Kyle
single week.
Busch instantly
That tells me
becomes
this
the
is not
biggest
just
free
one
agent
isolated
in NASCAR.
story. The
A
entire
driver with
garage feels
championship
tense right now.
experience
And that is what
race-winning
makes the
talent
next few
could
races so
completely
important.
reshape the
Every
balance
move
of
on the
power,
track is going to
depending on
feel
where he
more
lands.
personal.
When you
Every
look back
battle
at
is going to
Texas
carry
through
more
that
emotion.
lens, his
Fans are
aggressive
going to watch
driving
Kyle
makes
Busch
a lot more
closely to
sense.
see whether he
It
settles
did not
down
feel like
or
one
keeps
bad
racing
moment.
with that
It
same
felt like an
level of
entire
aggression.
season
Because
of
if the frustration
finally
continues
boiling
building,
over on
another
national
major moment
television.
feels
And
inevitable.
honestly,
At the
that
same
creates
time,
mixed feelings
everyone will
for
be
NASCAR
watching
fans.
Chase Elliott to
On
see
one
if
hand,
this momentum
this
is
kind
real.
of emotion
If he
creates
keeps
drama,
performing like this,
intensity,
we are talking
and
about a legitimate
unforgettable
championship run again.
It makes the sport
and that changes
impossible
everything
to
for the
ignore.
playoffs.
But at the
And
same
do not
time,
forget about the growing
you're
tension
watching one of
between
the
other
greatest
drivers.
of this generation
Ryan
struggle
Preece and
in a
Ty Gibbs are
situation
clearly
that
not
clearly
seeing eye to
is
eye
not
right
working.
now. And
If this
feelings like
split
that
really
usually
happens,
carry over
it
into
could
future
change
races.
everything.
The same
Silly
goes for the
season,
concerns drivers
playoff
are
battles,
raising about
team
the super
lineups,
speedway
the championship race.
So what we are heading
all of it
into
could look
now
different
is not
very
just
quickly.
another race weekend.
Texas gave us
It feels like the
chaos on
next
track.
chapter of a
But the bigger
NASCAR
story
season that
may
is
be
becoming
what is happening behind the
unpredictable,
scenes.
emotional, and
personally,
incredibly intense.
I do not think we have seen
and honestly,
the peak of this drama
that is
yet.
exactly
From
why
my
fans love
perspective
this
as a
sport.
fan,
Right
this
now,
feels
NASCAR
like one of
does
those
not
turning
feel
points
calm.
in a NASCAR
It feels
season
alive.
where
It feels
everything starts
emotional.
shifting.
It feels like
Rivalries
anything can
become
happen at any
personal.
moment.
Teams
So
start
stay
making
locked in
long-term
because if this is where the season
decisions, and one
stands
major
right
moment
now,
can completely
imagine what could
change
happen
the
next.
championship
Now I
picture.
want to hear from you.
You have Chase
Whose side are
Elliott
you on in
suddenly
the Kyle
looking like a
Busch and
serious
John Hunter
title
Nemechek
contender
incident?
again.
And
You have
what do you
drivers
think
like
happens
Ryan
next
Preece
with Kyle
and
Busch
Christopher
and
Bell
Richard Childress
openly
racing?
expressing
If you
frustration.
enjoyed this kind of
And you have
NASCAR
Kyle
discussion,
Busch looking
make
like a
sure to like
driver
the video,
carrying more
leave your thoughts in the
pressure
comments,
every single
and
week.
subscribe to NASCAR
That tells
Nation
me this is
Report.
not just
We are still
one
growing toward
isolated
15,000
story.
subscribers.
The entire garage
and if you are
feels
here
tense
every
right
week
now.
living through
And that
these
is what
races
makes
with
the
the
next
rest of
few
us,
races so
you are
important.
already part of the
Every
journey
move
now.
on the track
At the
is gonna
same
feel
time,
more
everyone will
personal.
be watching
Every
Chase
battle
Elliott to
is
see
going to carry
if this
more
momentum
emotion.
is real.
Fans are going to watch
if
Kyle
he keeps
Busch
performing like
closely
this,
to see
we are talking
whether he
about a
settles
legitimate
down or
championship
keeps
run again.
racing
And
with
that changes
same
everything
level of
for the
aggression.
playoffs.
Because
and
if
do
the
not forget
frustration
about the growing
continues
tension
building,
between other drivers.
another major
either.
moment feels
Ryan Preece
inevitable.
and Ty Gibbs
At
are
the same
clearly
time,
not seeing eye to
everyone
eye
will be
right
watching
now.
Chase
And
Elliott
feelings
to
like that
see
usually
if
carry
this
over into
momentum
future
is
races.
real.
The
If
same
he
goes
keeps
for the
performing
concerns
like
drivers
this,
are
we're
raising
talking
about
about
the
a
super
legitimate
speedway package.
championship run
So what
again.
we are heading
And
into
that
now
changes
is not
everything for
just
the
another
playoffs.
race weekend.
And do not
It feels
forget
like the
about
next
the growing
chapter of a
tension between
NASCAR
other
season
drivers
that is becoming
either.
unpredictable,
Ryan Preece and
emotional,
Ty Gibbs
and
are
incredibly
clearly
intense.
not seeing eye to eye
And
right
honestly,
now.
that is
And feelings
exactly
like that
why
usually
fans
carry
love this
over into
sport.
future races.
Right now, NASCAR
The same
does not
goes
feel
for the
calm.
concerns
It
drivers
feels
are
alive.
raising about
It
the
feels
super
emotional.
speedway package.
It feels like
So what
anything
we are
can
heading
happen
into
at any
now
moment.
is not
So
just
stay
another
locked
race
in
weekend.
because if this is
It
where the
feels like the
season
next
stands
chapter
right
of a
now,
NASCAR
imagine what
season
could happen
that is
next.
becoming
Now I want to hear
unpredictable,
from you.
emotional,
Whose side are you on
and
in the Kyle
incredibly
Busch and
intense.
John Hunter Nemechek
And
incident?
honestly,
And what do you
that is
think
exactly
happens
why
next with Kyle
fans
Busch
love this
and
sport.
Richard Childress racing?
Right now, NASCAR
If you enjoyed
does
this kind of
not feel
NASCAR
calm.
discussion,
It feels alive.
make sure to like the
It
video,
feels emotional.
leave your thoughts in the
It
comments,
feels like anything
and
can
subscribe
happen
to
at any
NASCAR
moment.
Nation Report.
So stay
We
locked
are still
in,
growing
because
toward
if this is where the season
15,000
stands right
subscribers.
now,
And if you are
imagine what
here
could happen
every
next.
week living
Now I
through
want to
these
hear from
races
you.
with the rest of
Whose
us,
side are you
you
on
are
in the Kyle
already part of
Busch
the journey
and John
now.
Hunter